Happy Wednesday, everybody. And first things first, we've got the Raft Builder back. Raft Builder, say hello.
What's up? What's up, nerds? Um, I heard you guys were, looking for some controversy and looking for your resident um, a-hole. So I'm back. Someone's got to do the job.
Brother man, you and Mitch, welcome back. Welcome back. Get the geek, are you well, mate?
Yes, I'm well, and thank you for tuning in, everybody out there. And we're excited to have this podcast.
Absolutely.
Hey,
And
Jeff,
let's
what
not.
about a quick shout out to your fans club? Maybe. Come on.
There's probably just 3 members there, mostly my relatives.
Nah. Doubt it.
I think we need to do something like the Jet fan club, right? We need to get people signing up. Online community only, invites only, by photo. Right. Chris, how are you?
Oh, good. Never better. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So a slightly unusual show today. It's a show that I know nothing about. We're going to do mythology. We've got a couple of giveaways, but we'll come to that as we kind of progress. So, Jet the Geek, why don't you start us off? Because I feel this is one of your top topics, right? You kind of live and breathe mythology on a daily basis, mate. So go for it. Start us off.
Well, I chose mythology because, well, their stories have been legends have been told since a long time ago, since the Greeks started it, Plato started it, and comic books are mythology, are modern day mythology. It's like the window to the ancient mythologies of the Greeks, the Norse, the Celtic mythologies. So that's why I want to dive into this. And there are a lot of stories that are based on ancient mythologies. I just like to give a few, which is a Woody Allen film, which is Mighty Aphrodite in 1991, I think, where it was real. The movie it was shot in a modern setting, but it's actually based on a Greek mythology. So those are like under the radar, and it has the mythology have been told so many ways, so many times in different settings, but it's still interesting. It still sells, and it still grips the audience in to watch it or listen to it. So it's the capes and heroes right now are our mythology. So this is something that is very interesting. It doesn't have to be boring Greek mythology where you know it it can be as interesting as the superheroes that we are in into right now. So there. So that's what we're going to discuss. Greek mythologies. What are the resemblance into, or how it is translated to other mediums forms, or how it is being used as a platform to, or a base or a platform to tell stories, modern day stories.
And Jet, do you have kind of a favorite mythology? Is it Greek? Is it local? Is there anyone that really gets your blood going in a good way, or your juices flowing? Talking about your fan club.
Oh, well, Greek mythology definitely was one of the best ones that I've encountered, read, and there's so many
Okay.
layers into it, and the the very uh, their failures as gods also are in there, and how twisted they are, and it's very much a reflection of actually the society. And then definitely there's a lot of Asian mythologies, Norse. I'm pretty much I was really excited about Celtic mythology because unlike any other mythology, Celtic mythology was handed down through words by mouth. It wasn't really written down,
Mm,
but it was handed down in terms of storytelling, and which should have been so. Uh, and there's also a what you call a Creole in Africa, wherein they are like the custodian of these stories of their mythology of great things, and that's called the Creole in somewhere in Africa. So see, mythology translates culture, uh, hemispheres, countries, and it's very similar. Just like Wales has dragons, but yet also Asia has dragons. And why is that so? Where did it come?
And
Where
we
did it
have the
come
best
from?
dragons in Wales. We'd take the Asian dragons on head to head and we'd win. But we won't discuss that. We won't discuss that.
Well, a dragon is more colorful, but
Exactly. Cool.
okay.
Thanks, mate.
How many dragons have been tattooed, which is Wales and Asian? I think mostly are Asian. Just a,
Oh, all right. Yeah, let's not go down that route. Let's not go down that
all
route.
right.
All right. Cool. Let's go to the raft builder who's making a welcome return to today's show. Epster, what are your thoughts? Where are you in kind of the mythology world?
No, I think Jet makes some really good points. There are some mythologies that, these cultures that didn't have any interactions with each other like thousands of years ago seem to have these common themes of mythology, like the dragon stuff. It wasn't like there was a Welsh guy hanging out with a Chinese guy like 2,000 years ago. It's like, you know what? How about them flying lizards? How about them goddamn flying lizards? And that thing kind of like cross cultures and cross time and cross boundaries. So that's always interesting, and it seems like we as a culture have a fascination with winged creatures. That's across the board. There's like banshees, in Europe, and there's like Garuda, which is like an Asian winged bird, kind of like flying around, which seems to be kind of like famous in Indonesia. The Philippines has, of course, our own the manananggal, which is like
Manananggal, yeah.
this person, like a girl who like splits in half. Her upper half like flies away, and her lower half like stays, and is into eating babies. It
Really?
There's always, yeah, there's like a winged creature like element across cultures, and then there's always like this fascination with giants. Like Paul is,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
the mythology of Paul around.
I should have seen that coming. No, I should have seen
Yeah,
that one
there's
coming.
like I don't know if it's like Greek, or I know it's like Western, like the Minotaurs, which is like your half bull, half like, and the Philippines
That's
has
Greek.
obviously a version of our own, which is like a
Yeah.
giant dude, which is probably because in the Filipino culture, the guy's probably just 5'6",
Oh my
and
god. Oh no.
it's like the famous giant Filipino is like Capre, which like lives in a tree, and it's like one
Smokes
of
a
those
cigar.
smokes a cigar.
Balang yan.
Seriously?
Balang.
Yeah. Smoke. I'm sure. Like when people thought about this guy like 300 years ago, it was just some dude that was 5'6", and it was just taller than everyone else. That was 5'2", smoking a cigar up in the tree. It was like, yep, that's it. That's our giant creature. It's amazing. I have a fascination for local mythology because it always kind of goes back to me like how these things got started, right? Like it came out of like the imagination of someone, and it got passed down, and it grew legs, and all of a sudden it's part of culture, and it's been enduring for literally hundreds of years, and it's funny how like a lot of these stories get passed on by mouth or by stories. Like Jet was saying, like the Creoles in Africa, but with the rise of modern technology, it's like it's coming out in comic books and pop culture, and it's amazing to see that evolution.
Yeah, I agree, mate. As I said, I'm not as deeply involved in mythology as you guys are, so I apologise. So my knowledge is very, very limited, but it's certainly something I wish I'd spent more time getting getting my head around and getting to understand, and I'll do that moving forward. A couple of things I want to mention before we bring Cricks in. Jet and Epi, I think maybe you can keep me honest here. Isn't that the premise about the God story? Isn't that or not the God story, but the mythology story? Isn't that the premise of the Neil Gaiman book, American Gods? So they don't. Isn't the story that they go from the old world to the new world, but they stop telling the story about the gods, right? Is that right?
Old
Is that kind of
gods.
how it works?
Old gods
Yeah.
versus new gods.
Uh, uh, well, what's great about the American Gods by Neil Gaiman is that it's a simple question that he asked, which is the United States are mostly European. How come their gods were not able to cross the Atlantic? It never really came over to America. It never really ran off or really took off. So what happened there? So I don't want to spoil the book. So those who wants to read, if you want to dive into mythology, there's a slew of mythology there: Greek, Norse, Egyptian, Asian. Read it there, and it's a very, very wonderful book by Neil Gaiman.
So I've got the book here, right? And I don't know if you can see, but it's American Gods, right? But then if you look at the letters that are still lit, although it's the novel of the book, so they're not actually lit. But if you look at it, it says, "Am I a god?" There you go.
Nice.
Right? I'm not as stupid as I look, Epi, and that's saying something, because I look really stupid. All right, Chris, let's come to you. Where do you sit in the whole mythology world? Where are you? Local, Greek, Norse? Don't even buy into it. Where do you sit?
I'm gonna focus on the Asian mythology because, first of all, I have my guest here, Sailor Moon, and there's a mythology behind it, and I'll talk about it later. I'm gonna focus on Japanese and then Greco-Roman mythology because that's the one that we are really familiar with nowadays, and
Okay.
also, as mythology or as a fan of ancient aliens, I can't help but to but to realize
Is
things
that
when I was
me? Am I
watching
an
that.
Asian alien? Am I an illegal Asian alien? Is that my...
Ancient aliens
You're
like
you're a legal
Giorgio.
alien.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, if you're gonna think about it, the relevance of even Christian mythology is really prevalent um in our culture, especially if you're gonna compare Epic of Gilgamesh versus the story of Noah's Ark. You have those difference, and then we have the goddess Inanna from the Egyptian mythology, comparing it to Aphrodite. You have to think of things that they are. Why are they parallel? Why they have stories, same stories, and then even though the tablets, the stories are passed through tongues, they still survive. And even in modern incantations or reincarnations that we have, we can see that mythology is really still present in our culture. If you like Elizabeth, or not Elizabeth, but Audrey Hepburn's film My Fair Lady, it actually came from the story of Pygmalion. So, and even for the girls like me, we love Lindsay Lohan's Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, which is also a bit part about Pygmalion. So there, Asian everything, even Christian mythology. Um, I'm really interested on those topics because first of all, I taught literature when I was younger, so I have to focus on those things. But when I was
When you were
studying
younger, wait, we have to
younger,
go back. You were younger.
after graduation,
All right, go on.
after graduation, after uni, maybe that was like 9 years ago. I
What? Uni was 9 years ago.
maybe I don't know. Sorry, yeah, because because I don't know. They hired me because after graduation, I was like, okay, I can teach literature if you want. But yeah, but when I was a student, I was always sleeping on my teacher's classes. So I don't know if I'm the right person to
I'm
teach
glad you
that.
finished
Yeah.
that sentence, Crix, because you were like, when I was in college, I was sleeping with my teachers.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Hey! university.
All right,
Oh my
I'm
god.
sentence, man. That's just
Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
no.
I thought she was going to say I'm always sleeping on my teacher's desk. I was worried where that D was going for a minute.
I was thinking of a different thing, and it starts with a
Really?
P and ends with a B. But yeah,
Stop
that's
it.
it. Oh
It's
my
a
god,
family
stop.
show. It's a family show.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
who do you have like up front there? Like your who are those?
Yeah. I've got well, this is I think sorry, I got lost because of you, Epi. Damn it. Ah. Still can't get over it. But yeah, I have Sailor Moon here,
is
but
that what you
this
said to the
is
teacher?
Sailor Moon.
oh no.
I'm sorry, Chris. You should have laid that one up for me. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Carry on.
That's okay. Oh my god. I'm sweating. Okay, this is Sailor Moon and then I have
Too
Andy
many
Marion.
jokes. Too many-
Yeah, but
Sorry,
they
Chris.
are
Go on.
part of the mythology that I'm gonna discuss earlier or later this afternoon. So there, the reason I put them here because they are relevant in the mythology discussion that we're gonna have, and it's Sailor Moon Day because it's the birthday of Usagi Tsukino, the main character of Sailor Moon. I actually even have the choker and the earring here. Yeah.
Chris, so
Nice.
let me tell you something. I always feel that certainly Jet and I, and to a lesser extent Epi, we kind of rock up with very little information when it comes to our weekly Geekish Khan, right? We wing it. I always feel you go to the nth degree, right? And you just you do all your homework and stuff before we come on, and then you put the rest of us to shame, honestly. So congratulations, really, right? I always feel a little bit out of my depth whenever I'm talking to Chris about things.
Yeah, but
I don't. I just don't try at all. Unlike Paul who tried, I just I don't even try. But I agree with Paul.
Yeah, I agree with Paul too.
Not many people agree with me, anyway. All right, so I don't know. I'll just throw this question out here and see who wants to take it. There's been a recent anime released on Netflix, which is based around the Filipino mythology, right? And I probably won't be able to pronounce it correctly, so my apologies. But is it Treese? Is that how you pronounce it? But
yeah,
Who
absolutely.
wants to speak about that?
Perfectly.
Perfect. Amazing.
Go around town asking people if, hey, have you seen trees? And look at
Why
you'll get two looks, like you're an idiot. That's the first look, right? Or it's like, what is this guy talking about?
Oh no.
Okay, go on then, Epster. So how is it?
Who taught you Filipino? That's their second fault.
I think you
Yeah.
can pronounce
It's 13, just like the number 13.
you can pronounce it phonetically.
It's the
13.
number 13.
Exactly how it's spelled.
Oh, okay.
Trece.
So what's the premise of it? What's it about?
I've not seen it. I
It's
saw like
about
the
mythical
first 5 minutes.
creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Jed. Go ahead, man.
It's a story. Oh yeah, it was. It is diving into our local mythology, wherein there's what Epi mentioned a while ago, the Manananggal, and there's the Duendes, the Capres, and all. So it is set in a realm, in a story being told, where we are all coexisting, and there's this girl that can live in both realms and can see and talk to them. I'm not going to give it away. Watch it. It's a good
It's a good one.
animation. I know there are a lot of naysayers. Yeah, there's a lot of naysayers, but just focus on the story, and it's something that you're really going to enjoy. So
Yeah.
so that's the premise of Trece, is somebody who's like a paranormal investigator, something like that.
Yeah.
just keep
Yeah,
it in
we've had a comment here from
podcast,
Jem Vocal who said it's like FBI but for mythical creatures, right?
Yeah,
Is that right?
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct. Mhm.
All
It
right.
started off as a
Okay.
comic book. In fact, when uh, when Neil Gaiman visited the Philippines and had a book signing, he encouraged publishers to promote local writers and comic books and our local mythology. When he heard about our local mythology, and he said that it is something worthy of a comic book or a TV series. And so here we are now. It did take time, but yes, after that there was just a slew of stories regarding our mythical creatures. In fact, Image Comics released. It's already canceled. The title was Stone. It was released by Image Comics, and it was based on Philippine mythical creatures. Stone meaning agimat or amulet. So that's why it's called Stone. And there's a tikbala, which is the guy that smokes cigars, that has
In the tree.
four stuff. Yeah, in the tree. So there's the duendes or the dwarves that you call. Uh, it in one of the comic spreads in Stone, Megamall was even in there featured. So I'm going down the rabbit hole about this. So we'll stop there.
Let's stop there, mate. Otherwise, we're not going to get you back for about 2 or 3 days. You'll just keep talking, right? It worries me. All right, cool. So it kind of, so there's 2 things that I want to talk about local mythology, right? So the first thing is, did you guys know that there's a Grimm episode? Are you guys familiar with Grimm?
I've heard of it.
TV show,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a TV show called Grimm that's based in the Grimm fairy tales. Grimm, I don't mean bad. I just mean the Brothers Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
The Green
Right.
Brother. Yep.
The Brothers Grimm with the double M.
The Brothers, the double M. And unfortunately, I forget the creature. It's the creature that comes in and I think steals the babies.
Is it the Chana?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I remember Anya and I watched it and Anya went, "Oh, that's a Filipino creature." And I was like, "Yeah, it still means nothing to me." So
Bad.
I know. I'm an awful husband. Anyway, yeah. So there we go. But we are getting a lot of comments about. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the show. I don't know if is this right? It's like MIB but mythology.
Yep, it's the Men in Black animated series one. If you're gonna watch it, it has the same vibe, same environment, and same premise. Yeah, you're probably gonna love it. Hopefully.
And Jet, we've got a comment from the founder member of the Jet Fan Club here. Why are we surprised that DM's in? The why I can't read that. Well, I can read it. I just
Balete Drive.
Balete.
What does that mean?
That's a famous.
It's
famous
Balit.
street.
It's Balit. Balit Drive.
Ballet.
All right, cool. And there's something else about mythology. So I'm a big fan of Stephen Fry. Do you guys know who Stephen Fry is? Stephen Fry?
Yeah.
So Stephen Fry's wrote a couple of books. Yeah, he's got a couple of mythology books. One's called Heroes, and I forget what the other one was called. But he was being interviewed once about his beliefs, and I won't go into the religious side of it because it's controversial. But we then starts to talk about the Greek gods, and what he said about them was that he liked the Greek gods because they demonstrate flaws. They're not perfect, right? They've got human flaws.
Like what they said. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. You beat me to it. Because I was going to mention it, but there you go. You've just stolen my one. That's all I had. That was all I had, mate. And Jet went, within the first 5 seconds of the show. I said, well, I've got nothing else to say now, Jet. Thanks very much, mate.
Sorry.
Thanks, man. Epster, from you, mate, because you're not the elder statesman of the group, because that's me. But
we know that.
Dude, from your mythology. From your mythology perspective, mate, how do you see that coming into popular culture right now? I know we've spoken about comics and stuff, but is there any kind of direct links between the past and what you're seeing, in pop culture these days, mate?
Yeah, I not so much like popular medium or popular culture like films or Netflix, but to me, there's some things that are so enduring that it becomes not just part of our culture, but just part of our everyday lives. And one of the examples that I can think of is in the Philippines, especially if you go to the provinces, when you knock on someone's house, the way to let them know that you're there is you say tao
Ow.
po. It's like when you knock and say tao po, which means it's like to announce yourself. And people thought that for a long time it was to say there's a person here, but when they traced it back, like hundreds and hundreds of years back, people would say that because when they would knock on people's houses, they would have to identify themselves like, "Hey, I'm not a, like I'm not a ghoul. I'm not like a ghost. I'm human. So let me in." And it's just, it's so interesting because when you still knock at people's houses, you say "tao po," and it was like it's like to let them know that basically you're a human to let me in. So you could never say that, Paul. Um, unfortunately,
So,
the
so mythical creatures cannot lie. You know, when they knock and
yeah.
they have to say "tikbalang."
Yeah, yeah. And in Paul's case,
Kapre.
I wear pink striped shirts. How you would have to announce yourself. Yeah, it's just to me, it's just it's amazing how stuff like that endures. And this other thing that endures is, um, when you're a kid and you're playing with your friends and you're like walking in like in an empty land that's not like modernized or built, you would actually have to say tabi tabi po, or which basically just means like I'm coming through. So whatever like small elves or dwarves that are there have to like step aside. Otherwise, if you step on them, like whatever thing you do to them, they mess you up like straight back. Like if you step on them, they give you a club foot. Like all of a sudden, you go from a size 10 to like a size 14, and you can't wear all your favorite sneaks, which is a hassle. And that kind of endured, man. So when people like in the golf course pee, you can hear them say "tabi tabi po."
Imagine what curse they can
Yeah,
have.
exactly. So my friend, and if you're watching this, his name is Ferdinand Benitez. He's always claimed that when he was a kid, he actually accidentally peed on some dwarves, and that's why he got like a big.
Oh my.
That's not like the dwarves like messed him up and like made his thing harsher than
No.
usual. Yeah, that's my. I'm gonna shut up for the rest of this podcast.
We've got it. Where is Ferdy? Ferdy, if you're out there, drop us a message, mate. We'd love to hear of you, particularly with that story. And Effie, do you remember the Adam Lancaster story with the dwarf?
Yes, yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah.
well, I might get some of the details incorrect, right? So, Effie and I have a mutual friend who lives in the UK. He visited the Philippines through work 6 or 7 years ago, and we were out having a couple of beers, and he started to share this story that I'm not sure if it's him or his brother or somebody. They're scared of dwarfs, proper dwarfs, right? Like people that go wrestling at that place that we don't talk about, right? So anyway, the door rings. And his brothers, anyway, the door ring, the bell rings to this door. His brother goes and answers the door, and at the door is a salesman, but unfortunately, he's a dwarf salesman, right? He's small. This guy gets scared. He picks this dwarf up. It gets better. He picks him up and carries him in. The dwarf's kicking and screaming.
Oh
Locks him inside a cupboard. For the whole day until his mum comes home from work.
Thanks, Paul. You just took us down a rabbit hole, man. You just.
I know. I'm sorry.
I don't think we're referring to those dwarves. Those are real human beings, by the way, Paul. It's just
I know.
they weren't like
And
mythological creatures.
I'm all for pride and stuff like that. Anyway,
You're going to hell for that one.
I know. Well, I'm going to hell for a lot of things, and that just add that to it. Quick, I know you've got a couple of things there that you wanted to talk about in front of you from a mythology perspective. Sailor Moon. Just kind of explain what you've got there and what your fascination is with Sailor Moon.
Sure, but before I start, imagine bringing your friend to the Hobbit house here in the Philippines, or back then, the Hobbit restaurant that we had here. He's gonna have a blast. Imagine. Yeah, the possibilities
exactly.
are endless.
Great blues music.
Yeah.
Blues music. Home of the
Oh my
blues.
god.
Local blues.
Okay. So yeah, first of all, today is Sailor Moon's birthday, and my fascination didn't start just by watching Sailor Moon. If you are a 90s kid, you probably had encountered some animes which are based on mythology, Japanese mythology, and also one of the masterpieces that we had right now, or that we had in Netflix, or we have or currently have in Netflix, is Tale of Princess Kaguya, which is also partly part origin story of Sailor Moon. It's about the moon princess who went through, or was found by the woodcutter, and then it's actually a good story where it's a parent kid thing that you have to accept. And then American Gods, we have that on show. Good thing. Oh, by the way, Good Omens is secured for
Yes.
season 2. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. American Gods, yeah, Mr. Wednesday. And Jet, do you remember this?
Of course, Nancy Boyce. Yeah, I
Yeah.
recommended that to Paul. Yep.
Yep,
Yeah, he did.
it's
He did.
one
He
of
did.
one of the good books. Oh, Neil is here. He looks like I don't know, from the vocalist of the Cars. And then Norse mythology. I was gifted by my boyfriend this book, and I
Nice.
loved it. Loved it.
Nice.
Love everything. And mythology is really significant in terms of, here in the Philippines, we are really keen on superstitions and also goddesses. We had our Babay lands back then. And as Joe said on the comment below, we have Mariang Makiling. If you're gonna visit Laguna Paul, you are gonna see a mountain that looks like a woman who is lying down. So she's like encantada, or she's, yeah, she
Enchantress.
said, yep, an enchantress, yeah. And yeah, you have to see the parallels between the countries. You have your dragons, we had our dragons, and then we have
We would
our
still win in a fight, Crix. Anyway.
I'm gonna go with the Asians one. Of course, we have anime to support that. We have Dragon Ball Z, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's fair
Yeah.
enough. We've
Yeah.
got Super Ted and Simon Sam, so yeah, you win on there.
Yeah, and you have to check. I do love Celtic mythology as well, as they have the story of changelings. The story of a changeling had a true crime parallel that happened in real life. So there's this woman who got sick, and her husband thought that she is being changed by the, or being, or was kidnapped by the changeling. So they killed her. It was a controversial trial case in, I think that it was in Ireland, and the family was jailed because it was presumed murder, thinking that she is being possessed by the changeling. So I love that story, and even the monsters, mythical monsters, are really good. So there.
Thanks, Crix. Honestly, your knowledge is second to none. I'm going to throw a question out to you. Why is he called Mr. Wednesday in the book?
American Gods,
No?
right?
Yeah, why is he called
American
Mr.
Gods.
Wednesday? Anybody know?
Is
He
he?
posted it.
Is he? Is he? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jet.
He posted it.
Yeah.
She posted it earlier in her Facebook page.
Oh, really?
Crix. The answer is there. In
Yeah.
your post.
Oh.
That did
Oh,
you
okay.
did you know part? The Waddens. The origin of Wednesday.
All right. Okay. Yeah. There you go. You stole my thunder. Listen, guys, you got to give me. My knowledge for mythology is poor. You keep taking everything. Anyway.
Chris, well, you have Sailor Moon. Like my friend Shockwave wants to say what's up, Sailor Moon. And there's three of
Hi.
them. My boy Shockwave says what's up, and if you guys ever want to hook up, Shockwaves wants to get one of their numbers. So it's
Yeah, th- that's okay. As long as it is not Goku, it's gonna be
yeah,
a
and
dream.
I don't know if you knew this about Soundwave. He has a laser beak, which is what Paul Nick
Oh my
has
god.
nicknamed other
Oh
other
no.
near and dear parts of himself. That's what you called it for a while, right, Paul? Laserbeak.
You have to call it Laserbeak for a while,
Yeah.
mate. You've got to call it Laserbeak. I think we can go into a little more detail after maybe the 9 p.m. watershed. I think for now, let's just leave it there. Are you gonna allow them to use your couch to get to know each other?
That could work. I mean, Sailor Moon and Shockwave, they can have a few drinks. You never know where that thing's gonna go. Laserbeak might even show up.
As long
We'll-
as Bruno Mars will set the mood. She,
Oh,
she
Oh,
likes Bruno
God.
Mars. Just kidding.
Shockwave was like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna
She's
work. Like Bruno Mars,
she's
it's
a
not gonna work. I'm sorry.
basic B. She's a basic B. She likes pumpkin spice lattes, and then she wears Lululemons, and then she says like really basic things. So she likes Bruno
That's
Mars and
all
even
good.
Ariana Grande. So yeah.
Cricks, I love you dearly, but I do think sometimes you need to get a life, right?
Yeah.
I am alive. Oh my god.
particularly when you consider your Taylor Moon character there. You're now telling us she wears Lululemons. I didn't even know what Lululemons was until last year or the year before. So amazing. All right, Jack the Geek. Let's come to you, mate. So we've got a couple of announcements, right? We've got a couple of giveaways. So Jack, over to you, mate.
So we have this book that we're going to give away. Well, actually, Paul's going to give it away because it's in his parlor. And what you're going to do is all you have to do is like the podcast uh, page and share it. And all you need to do is assign, if there's such thing as a spirit animal, assign a spirit mythical creature to one of us. And the funniest and the most fun and most interesting will win the book. We have to vote though.
Oh no.
Okay. So let's just go through it. So we've got 2 books to give away. We've got this one here, Mythology, by Edith Hamilton. And I think, Jack, you recommend this book quite highly, right?
Yes.
And Effie's nodding his head as well.
Yeah, that touches on not only on Greek mythology. In the latter pages of that, there's also Norse mythology. You're going to learn what Valkyries do during peacetime. It's there.
Oh, okay. And then we have the Neil Gaiman book that Crix was referring to in Norse mythology. So we've got both these books to give away. So what we need for everybody, just a recap, is that our audience members, you have from now until next week to like the podcast coach page, to share it, and then also to nominate or to give us, anybody on the team here, a mythical creature or a spirit animal, and the funniest will win these books, and we're going to vote internally on the winner. All right, so I think, guys, we'll shout out the winner next week. So we've got a week to review. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Jet, thank you so much. Love your giveaways, mate, and your introduction there. Thank you so much. Epi, Wrath Builder, it's great to have you back, my friend. You were sorely missed. Thank you so much. And I don't know if you guys know, but if when Epi wears a black shirt, he blends into the couch, so all you see is just his floating hair.
Oh no, yeah, I just realized that.
Right?
Oh my god. It's like the head.
That's all that matters, really. It's just the head. And
Epi the couch.
I
Sounds
don't know.
different.
I'm gonna get this show banned. That's my one mission. Is for us to get banned.
We'll have an X-rated Geekish Khan sooner or later. But mate, thanks so much for coming back. It's great to have you back on the show. And of course, Crix, the encyclopedia of all knowledge, where we don't know anything, we go to. Crix, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Guys, please reach out. Let us know anything that what you'd like us to discuss next week. So next week we will announce the winners. And Rathbuilder, next week, as you've not been here for a couple of weeks, what do you want us to discuss next week, my friend?
I don't know. Ooh, that's a great question. I am looking forward to this movie called Dune. That
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
adapted
I'm
from
gonna
the
watch.
Frank Herbert
Yeah.
novel. It's gonna be great. So, I want to dive on that a little bit because it's coming out in like 30 or 60 days, and it's done by Denis Villeneuve, the same guy that did The Arrival. It's
Perfect.
it's gonna be super, yeah, and it's such a rich universe as probably that can only be rivaled by Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, but it has its own language, its own, it happens across like 35,000 years. The whole universe of story, so it's super rich, and but that's like super niche. So we can go like a different number of directions. I did want to close the show, Paul, if you'd let me.
Please.
Just,
Of course.
I just wanted to like hear from everyone, just like top like discoveries, like one of like these little things that you chance upon that just happen to be like such a gem that we can recommend maybe. And I have one because I'm not big like Netflix watcher, but I chanced on this I think small movie called The King. See if you ever get a chance to see that, dude. It's from the same guy that's gonna come out in Dune. He's like this kid, and
It's Timothy Chalamet. Oh my
yeah,
god.
that dude.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's cute. He's so easy on the eyes.
I so love it. Oh my
And,
god.
he's so cute. But what a movie, man! Like some of the best fight scenes that I've seen in a long time.
Is it about
Like
an
it's called The
English king,
King.
right? English
No, it's
king.
just called The King. Yeah, it's like
The King.
yeah, I think it's based out of like Hamlet or Henry the Fifth, one of like a Shakespeare novel. But the fight scenes are awesome. So if that's my like before we close the show, like quick recommendation. If you have a spare 2 hours and you're on Netflix anyway, go pop that thing in. It's amazing. Some of the best fight scenes that I've seen.
Excellent. The King. I've not seen that, right? So I'm going to pick that up. Perfect? Has anybody else got any insights, any golden nuggets they want to share that they've watched recently? I like that, Epi. The King. I'm going to check that one out.
Well, I'd like to recommend something to the audiences. If about mythology in terms of Japanese animations, that's already in Netflix. Watch Princess Mononoke. Uh, it, that's a fantastic
Ghibli.
uh, animation, and it deals about different gods and the environment. That's one. And to answer the comment a while ago about Maria Makiling, read the Maria Makiling and the love story between Mount Makiling and Mount Banahaw, how their love story came about. There's a book that's painted by a local artist. I can't remember. I don't know if it's Bottom Francisco, but painted by a local artist. I read that when I was a young boy, and I had a series of it. I could not find it anymore, but it's a very interesting read. I highly recommend that. And to DM about the White Ladies in Balete Drive, I have a story about that. I'm just not going to say it here.
That's that you can save that for your one-on-one fan club, right? Where you have those special meetings. Cool. Thanks. Yeah. Crix, last words to you. Anything you'd like to share? Any golden nuggets that you watched or read over the past week or so?
Yeah, if you wanted to start with Filipino literature, go with Daedalus in history class. That's one heck of a short story. And then you can read the mythology class. And there's this comics that's almost the same as Wong. It's Tabi Tabi po. It's one of the good mini comics that we have here in the
Mhm,
Philippines. So
mhm,
that's by I forgot the last name, but the first name of the author was Melvin. And you can also check him on Comic Con, support local artists. And then, best movie that I've watched, I'm gonna go with Sailor Moon. My God, for Christ's sake, the day Sailor Moon Day. Yeah, Sailor Moon is out on Netflix. So if you want to see, you want to fight evil by the moonlight, you want to transform with me, probably gonna watch Sailor Moon. And Ghibli films, yeah, Princess Mononoke is there. And hope to see you soon, guys, again next episode. Hope that we'll have views again, especially when Raft Builder is here, so can't
I
wait
know.
to.
He
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
he really,
we
What's up,
missed
he
Sailor
you.
really.
Moon? What's up, Sailor Moon? What's up, girl? How you doing? Just
Well, how you doing?
how
I'm
you
How
doing?
you
How you doing,
doing?
girl? How
How
you
you
How
doing?
you doing?
doing?
looking
Oh my
like
god, we're gonna be like Joey from Friends. But yeah, thank you guys for
right.
watching.
Absolutely. So thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget, like, share our page, let us know which mythical creatures you think we are, and then we'll pick a winner next week. No rude answers. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure. Take care, everybody. Have a great Wednesday and have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.